What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to another edition, a Motivational Monday. Is that what they call it, Soapy? Motivational Monday? Right here
Is that
on...
what they call it?
Some people do. MVP Games Live. I am joined, as I always am, you heard his voice, the beautiful Soapy Muffin.
I don't know about beautiful, but
My dog is even like agreeing with me through the wall into the kitchen. But yeah, it's so you got hump day, which is Wednesday. You got Feel Good Friday. I don't know if there's a name for Tuesday, Thursday. Thoughtful Tuesday, I think it is. And then what? It's usually Motivational Monday, right? To get you through that Monday, get you through the start of the week, Soaps.
I mean, dude, Mondays suck just in general. Like
They do. That's why you need that motivation to get through them. The weekend is over. It is behind you. It is back to work, basically.
I mean, fuck with me. It's continuing work.
Yeah, good point. You're on a different schedule, but as we've talked about before, Soaps, you're just built differently, right?
I wish I wasn't built different, and that's what this entails.
Soapy's like, man, I wish I was not and had a better work schedule, but you're not here to talk about us, talk about Soapy's work schedule. Hell, even talk about the days of the week. This is not MVP Days of the Week Live. This is MVP Games Live, where we talk about everything in the gaming sphere. We got a jam-packed show today, a little update from a story on Friday, a lot of things like a little leaks. Resident Evil had a little leaks, and maybe we talk about some mental health as well. Before we get into everything, though, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Number one, if you have not joined it already, join the best community on the internet. That is the MVP Discord. If you're on YouTube, that link down below in the description. If you're in Twitch, an exclamation Discord gets you the link. That's all it is. Just a link. Click, accept, boom, you're in to the best community on the internet. The greatest groups of guys. I want to say guys and girls, but I don't think we have any girls yet. So the best collection
It's a
of people.
fucking sausage fest, dude. If you're a girl out there, like there may be one or two things, that people be creepy, but we'll make sure that we keep it in check.
We run a good community. You got Soaps and I and Dave at the helm. We got a great group of mods. You don't have to feel scared. You don't have to feel scared. So go ahead, join that community today. Also, if you love what you hear today, love what you see, you can also support us. Patreon.com/MVPvids is how you do that. And on Twitch, because of Soaps, Big Brain Soaps over here thought the idea, we should make it easier for you. So yet again, if you're on YouTube, link down below. If you're on Twitch, exclamation Patreon, I think I did. I'm going to test this live on the show, Soapy, because I've never done it before. Yes, exclamation Patreon gets you the link for you to get the Patreon link if you do want to support us. However, you can also throw us a sub or a Prime Gaming on Twitch, where we're live every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. But we're also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment as well. So go ahead and follow and sub at both places. And so the first thing we're talking about today, a little bit of an update, a little pre-show discussion. We've got an update on the Ubisoft situation that was happening Friday, just about a couple hours before we went live on Friday. And I don't know if you've dove into anything on this, Soapy, yet, but when I read this today, I was a little puzzled. So on the Polygon article so the article was put out at 4:30 p.m., about 3:30 p.m. for Central Time on Friday the 13th. Then at about, 15 minutes later, they had the update. This story has been updated to reflect that the police investigation found no threat at the Montreal offices. Later that night, about 7:30 Central Time, they said this. There was a statement from the police that said, this Friday afternoon, the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal, SPVM, deployed a large number of resources to answer a call for a hostage situation in St. Laurent Boulevard office building. The perimeter was quickly secured, and SPVM confirms no threat has been detected. No injuries are reported. The evacuees are being directed to a place where investigators will take their statement. A team of CIUSS social workers are also on hand to support them as needed. An investigation will follow regarding the call behind this important police force deployment. If you have any information, blah, 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 call 911 or the crime info 514-393-1133 or online, putting that out there in case you do know anything. And then also Ubisoft Montreal released a statement that said, "We want to salute the courage and composure our teams showed today. Our focus remains on ensuring their health and well-being. We would also like to thank the SPVM for their quick and professional response, helping to bring the situation under control. We are extremely relieved that this was resolved without incidents, and we'd like to thank all of you for your support and kind words." Soapy, the other kind of stuff going through the grapevine is that this might have been a hoax. That's what the investigation is under for, apparently, in the building. From one of the articles I read, there was a daycare in another office company that shares the same building. This is something that I read it and I went, huh? Like, I was confused. I was thoroughly confused because I'm like, then why were they all on the roof? What was going? Obviously, I'm not there, so I don't know. Soapy, what is your thoughts with this, and are you as confused as I am with no definitive answers from either statement?
I'm not really puzzled. I'm more or less just tell me whatever happened. I'm personally at the point of I'm not gonna read too much into it and be like, huh, well, what happened at this exact time? When did the police get there? I'm not one of those people that just
I just want to know what happened. Because to me it seems like if it's a hoax, does it just mean okay? So they got pranked, basically. Is that what this was?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's why it's puzzling to where it's like they were all on the roof and everything. Of course, the bottom line, and I want everyone to know this so people don't jump on us, Soapy, oh, you're insensitive. Bottom line is everyone's safe. That's the bottom line. Really, if they don't need to tell us what happened, just as long as everyone's safe and everyone's fine with this, or fine from this, I should say. But it's the same thing. Even the police statement went into this of, you don't know how something like this, even if one of the people did not know what was going on, even this can affect mental health down the road. So just wanted to give an update from what we talked about on Friday, kind of pass that along to you guys. And speaking of mental health, Soapy, we're talking a little mental health today on MVP Games Live. It's an important conversation to have. And today, IGN has an article that says Oxford University, a study that they did, suggests playing video games is good for mental health. As reported by The Guardian, academics at the UK University, Oxford, used gameplay data from Animal Crossing New Horizons and Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville, in the study using psychological questionnaires to find that more playtime led to a greater sense of well-being in players. This is one of the first instances of researchers using real playtime data rather than asking subjects to report their own hours. This is about bringing games into the fold of psychology research that not a dumpster fire, lead researcher Andrew Przybylski, I hope I said that right, explained. The study showed that you're a much happier human being if you play 4 hours a day of Animal Crossing, but the team doesn't want to give games a carte blanche pass as a result. I'm very confident that if the research goes on, we will learn about the things that we think of as toxic in games, and we will have evidence for those things as well. Soapy, I'm going to ask you, like I always do, can't throw the question to anyone else, throwing it to you. Do you necessarily believe this study, that most of the time playing games does lead to good mental health?
I think there's a lot of cases where it does, but I think also at the same time there's a lot of times that it doesn't, and that's kind of something of I fully agree with the article. I think there are times when playing video games is good for you because it's one of those things of if you're just going around and not doing, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it in a way that I want it to actually sound.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're in a situation where, you know, the only way you can kind of like, I guess I'll say like relax
Mm-hmm.
is playing video games. I think that's kind of a dangerous thing of where, for instance, you may rely on it too much.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where I think that needs to be more of a conversation, because I think by this point most people should know. Like, obviously, there's the old people that are like, "Oh, damn, Mortal Kombat's gonna make my kids kill each other," all that stupid
Mm-hmm.
shit that happened.
Yeah.
But I think one of the conversations I think that needs to be had is how much is too much for it. And obviously, I
Mm-hmm.
know that's kind of like a different conversation as well.
Yeah.
But just kind of, in a way, playing devil's advocate. Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously, dude, I'm a huge fucking gamer. I've been playing since I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where obviously I'm going to be skewed one way because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
person who plays video games.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what they.
Whoop. I think Soapy cut. Until I hear Soapy come back, I'm gonna agree with Soaps of I've been playing games all my life too, and the thing that I was kind of you back, Soaps? Oh, is it a me thing? Is it a he thing?
My bad.
All right, you're back. I can hear you. You can continue. I was gonna take it away, just pick up, but
Okay.
you're back, so take it away, Soaps.
Okay. Just so I can make sure, where did it cut me off at?
It cut you off where, let's just say you basically were saying that there were some things bad about it, but then you were saying that like you were a gamer, you've played games all your life, so that's where you were coming from with it.
Oh, did it cut out again?
No, I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Oh, okay. It cut out for a second.
Okay. Yeah,
Sorry,
you were
everyone
basically
watching. My internet's being shit.
Yeah. Something we'll have to get through today, but you were saying that you've been a gamer all your life, so that's where you're coming from with this.
Yeah, of where I mostly have the stance of we need to look at the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can't just have like, oh, only one thing, because obviously, that's something that is, I don't want to say problematic, because problematic is the wrong word for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the major thing that should be approached with it is looking at the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Of where, for instance, the positives is that it takes your mind off of something. Like, you're not worried about everything going on in the world. You're worrying more about what's going on in the game,
Mm-hmm.
especially with games like Animal Crossing, of where it's the whole focus is like, hey man, I'm just trying to make my island better.
Yeah.
And then
It's a very relaxing game, I would say.
Yeah. And I'll even say, like, I kind of want them to do that test with, I wish they would do that test with, like, other games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not games that are specifically known as, like, relaxing games to play.
Call of Duty.
Like, that's kind of, yeah, like Call of Duty.
Give me something that's like a battle royale or a, because like that's the first thing I thought about Soapy is like, it's like, oh, Animal Crossing New Horizon, then Plants vs. Zombies. I'm like, all right, Plants vs. Zombies is kind of, it's like dipping your toes into that, like, oh, this one might cause a little bit more of a hectic response. I want to know, okay, what's going on when someone plays Call of Duty? Because I'll be completely honest, Dave can even vouch for this if he's watching. And really anyone who's played Call of Duty can vouch for this. You're on a good kill streak. You're feeling it. You had a good game. Cool. You feel good about yourself. But then you have those games where you're like 5-25, and you just want to punch your goddamn computer screen. You want to, like, for me, it's, how many times I've wanted to throw my controller against a wall. And that's not even Call of Duty. That's Madden. That's like these competitive games. There's that side to it. So like, I'm going to be like you, Sylvie. I'm not going to say that all gaming is hunky dory and it's not going to be a great experience. Like Dave does say, thanks for watching. Dave says instant gratification, instant frustration.
Yeah. and that's kind of where like my thought process of like it can be helpful but also harmful of you get that feeling of like, oh, it is instant gratification,
Yeah.
but then at the same time you run into that situation of games can also get you so far beyond pissed off that it's mind-blowing. Like, I can genuinely say I have never been more mad than when I am playing a game and it is not going my way. Like I can even use games that I play, like Dark Souls, for instance. Like, I've seen people get legitimately pissed, like throw controllers across rooms. I've seen people like, fuck. There was even a YouTuber named Flight Reacts. Flight already broke a PS5 controller.
Now, I have a question with this, though, because we're getting into the little bit of the bad, which is good. Now, would we say that, is this a reaction from the game, or is this something to where, like, yet again, this might be the science part of it. Basically the psychiatrists have to do their job and see, is this something to where it's like, all right, it brings out this anger in us, or is it something to where you may have this anger in you, but you're not like, because for me, like, I'm not a person that's going to shout you out unless like you literally bring me to that point where you have to literally piss me off and bring me to that point. Is this just bringing out that level in us? Like, oh, that anger is in you, it's just bringing that out, or is it really the game just being one that, okay, this game triggers frustration?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is. I think there are games that bring that out of people. And for instance, like I said, Dark Souls is one that tends to do that a lot. Obviously, I've said my piece about how Dark Souls isn't a hard game. You're just bad at it. I've said my piece. I'll have the whole internet pissed off at me. I don't care. But I think that's something that should be talked about as well. Like, I think that's the part of where like the negative mainly comes in for me.
Yeah.
Of it showing that like, oh, it has like all these great positive things it can do for you mentally. It also shows it can bring you to a side that like you don't want to come out of, where for instance, like, and that kind of feeds into as well the old thought process that people had of like, oh, video games make you violent. Like, that's kind of where it's based in. Of like, oh, like people get more pissed off playing video games than they do with like anything else. Obviously, if something else is going on, that needs to be taken into factor as well. But
I'm gonna throw out a question. And don't mean to cut you off.
I'll provide an answer.
Is it just competitive games that bring out that anger? Because I'm thinking with myself, and most of the games, when I think of like my angriest times, most of them are Call of Duty, which playing multiplayer, competitive game. Playing Madden, which even if I'm playing Madden and I'm not playing online, I'm still playing against the computer. There's a competitive atmosphere there. So that's another game I would say is competitive. The only instance in my head where I can basically see myself to where this was the angriest I got playing a non-competitive game was the one summer when I was in college replaying Kingdom Hearts. And I think it was Kingdom Hearts 2, where I just kept dying and kept dying and kept dying on the same boss that I literally took my controller and whipped it into the abyss, which is my basement, and forgot that it was not my PlayStation 3 and that the cord was connected to my console that took the PlayStation 2 with it. Luckily did not break the entire system and was able to finish. Like, that's the only thing I can think of a non-competitive game that has brought me to that brink. Like, is it just competitive games that bring out that frustration?
I don't think it's just competitive games. I think the main thing that it stems from is like, and I know some people would be like, oh, that's the problematic part. It brings out like this angry side of you. I think it more or less stems from the fact that it's a stress reliever. And that's
Yeah.
why I think, for as much bad as it does, video games are a stress reliever. Like, you have no idea
Everyone
how...
relieves it differently.
Yeah. Where, for instance, like, there are people, and obviously, for instance, there are people who, obviously, like you said, do it in much different ways. Like, there are people that, like, when they're pissed off or something, they'll go and, like, do boxing or something like that. Basically, it's like, oh, I'm physically getting the anger out. Obviously, some people may, they take that different ways, and that's fair. But, like, one of the things that I think comes with it as well, of it gives you a way of exercising that stress, but it's also, at the same time, you have to view it as like, okay, how is that stress being relieved, and is it potentially harmful to you for the stress to come out that way? Of like, yes, it's terrible to have stress on you, but at the same time, it's also, are you doing things that are hurting more than helping?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one of the things of, like, kind of the approach to that. But, like, overall, I think it's a good thing. Like, it's stress relieving. I think I also just realized I completely fucking talked around the question. I'll go back to that once I finish my thing.
Yeah, the thing that, I mean, coming off of yours, though, you sparked ideas into my head where I think of, you were saying, like, oh, is it healthy to basically X, Y, and Z, to do it that way? And I think of, like, when I've watched Austin Creed, Xavier Woods on Up, Up, Down, Down, where it's become, for him, who's someone who's in shape, it's not necessarily like something to look at and go, ooh, that's bad. But maybe if it was somebody of like my size, you'd look at it and go, oh, maybe that's not that healthy to do. Of he straps the heart monitor on him. And just by playing Fall Guys, his heart rate shot up to about 175 to 200 BPMs. Or I think it was like, I think 200's overshooting. I think it was about 175, 180 BPMs. And some people may say, well, is it like, yeah, you're relieving stress, you're having a good time, but is it healthy to bring your heart rate that high up? That's one of the instances I thought about with yours. And then, like Dave says in Twitch chat, the amount of Among Us clips where people get gaslit, shit ruins friendships, and mental. And I just, that's a side of it too, where I think that people, and yes, this brings in mental health and everything. If you're going to let a game ruin a friendship, you got to remember it's just a fucking game. Your friendship is more important than the game. Like, am I wrong there, Soapy? Or is that something to where it's like X, Y, and Z shouldn't have crossed the line even if it is a game?
I think it depends on the line that's crossed. Because, for instance, like, if you're playing a game or something, and obviously you say something in the heat of the moment,
yeah,
obviously you got to look at what they said in, a critical lens. Obviously, like, do you take it just as, like, oh, like, this was just said under, like, not duress.
But, like, Among Us is a game about lying. So, like, you should know that coming in. The person's going to lie to win the game if they're the imposter.
Yeah. And I think Among Us is one of those games of, if that ruins your friendship, I'm sorry, you had a shitty friendship to begin with.
Yeah, basically.
If someone lying to you in a video game ruined a friendship for you, I really don't got anything else to say besides either set your morals higher for your friendships, or understand that a game does not define your friendship. Which, obviously, like, I'm not trying to say, like, oh, this is 100% how your friendships have to be. Because obviously, if you don't like when people lie to you, fine. Also, don't play a game where the entire design of it is to lie to people.
Yeah, I mean, it just, maybe that's not a game for you then. Like, thing that...
Unless I have to be truthful if I'm the imposter. Like, Teehee, I killed him.
Yeah. Teehee, I did it. Ooh, everyone's having fun, right? It just makes me think, like, Dave brings it up, it makes me think of Dave and I's friendship, where it's like, has Dave been pissed at me? Yes. Have I been pissed at Dave? Yes. Are we still friends? Yes. Like, you're going to get mad at your friends. Like, don't let a game ruin your friendship, even, like, especially if it's a long-lasting friendship. I mean, this is a conversation that could also go on and on. Like, there's the side of it to where you can go into addiction and like how often do you, like, for me, my high school days, Dave can probably attest to this too, of the how many hours did I play World of Warcraft, how many Mountain Dew Code Reds did I drink in one sitting, and pretty much like the abuse that I put through my teenage body just to play World of Warcraft, and that's all I wanted to do. Like, yeah, that could be seen as a mental side of like, oh yes, you enjoyed this game, but you're deteriorating your life around it. Like, it is a balancing act also. Like, you need to say that. You need to take some of the good, take some of the bad, and kind of weigh it out to where you're not just throwing yourself all into it. And yet again, that, I'm not saying that's what the study was supposed to do. The study was just to say, hey, while playing the game, it made people feel happier, feel more mental health. But any last things you want to bring up, Soapy, that we haven't touched with this that you want to before we move on?
I mean, I guess my main thing would mostly just be, for people out there that are, I'll say, curious about gaming and everything, like wondering how it would affect them. Obviously, for instance, start off with mobile. Like, and obviously, I know some people, they have different opinions on mobile gaming and everything. But, like, for instance, you can have a situation of, like, oh, like, I'm skeptical of it because, I've seen how people react on the internet, like, do I want to go through something like that?
Yeah.
If you're curious about it, like, for instance, you can watch someone play other types of games. And obviously, for instance, I'll even say, like, there are some games that just some people probably shouldn't play.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, you can't play that, you youngster, or something like that. I don't know why I'm saying youngster. I'm, like, really fucking young compared to a good amount of people.
Like, for example, if you're someone who's
like,
scared of movies, like,
people,
if scary movies scare you and you get nightmares from them, don't play Amnesia. Like, that would be an example of one to me.
Yeah, don't play horror games.
Yeah, bingo.
And for instance, also, if you're really opposed to violence in video games, play a game that doesn't have violence. Like, that's one of the major things of, like, video gaming is such a vast span of where it's, like, obviously, a lot of people just associate it with, like, oh, killing people, which happens a lot in games. A lot of games have it, but for instance, play a racing game. You don't kill people in that. I mean, fuck, there have been some older racing games where you almost do, and you can't tell me that some of these people didn't die in the racing games,
I mean, when you're crashing into walls and shit, you gotta tell me how your guy doesn't die, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there was one game, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like whenever someone would crash, it would slow down time and show the crash, and like some cars would basically just become like a cube, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that guy's dead.
That guy is just dead.
Yeah, but like games like Gran Turismo, like Forza, you don't die.
Yeah.
Unless if like the car explodes, which I don't think you can do in those games.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
But
like those games. I don't play.
Even if then, yeah. And then even that, it's, if you don't like racing games, like, let's say, like, you don't mind killing at games, but you don't like first-person shooters. You can play RPGs, you can play strategy games, you can play other games like that. Hell, if you want an even more casual game, play the original Plants vs. Zombies.
Yeah.
You kill stuff in that. Obviously, it's a much more kid-friendly version of killing. It's just like, hey, man, it's just a pea shooter shooting a pea at a zombie.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, oh, this will be an interesting conversation because, like, I feel like games do get a bad rap, but let's be honest, there is some toxicity when it comes to games too. It isn't all hunky-dory. But, Soapy, the next thing we're moving on to is we got a little Resident Evil leak from Capcom, I want to say. Whereas there was a massive Capcom ransomware attack. Polygon's got the information. It says Capcom's plan for new games, including Resident Evil Village's launch, plus the source code of some games and other corporate financial secrets, were leaked overnight Sunday by a ransomware attack that begun on November 2nd. The company confirmed the attack, but not the leaked details, in a news release on Monday morning, warning that the personal information of as many as 350,000 persons has been compromised. This potentially includes information for both customers, shareholders, and employees. A copy of the ransom note Capcom received was posted by Reset Era, a group called Regal Locker, No, Ragnar Locker. I'm like, that doesn't seem right out of my mouth. Ragnar Locker claimed responsibility. The BBC reported that Ragnar Locker's deep web page, where the trove of information was dumped, indicated the Capcom had refused to pay the ransom. Basically, when it comes to Resident Evil, both, according to the ransomed leak, Resident Evil Village is being planned for an April 2021 launch. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is also slated for June 2021 on Nintendo Switch and will launch on PC as well. Soapy, it sucks that Capcom got hit with this ransomware. If all the informations of the 350,000 persons gets leaked, that obviously sucks. The thing I want to focus in on, though, is the Resident Evil 8 part of it. What are your thoughts if Resident Evil 8 is coming to us April 2021?
I mean, that's cool. Like, obviously, like you said, it's really shitty that something like that had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's pretty cool to hear that, something like this is coming. It's one of those things that we haven't seen an absolute crap ton from the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've seen, like, bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah.
But just, like, as of right now, like, we haven't seen an absolute crap ton. It's been like, oh, hey, we know the setting, we know this part, but, like, that's it. And obviously, a lot of the thing with Resident Evil games is kind of learning it as you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, like, I'm curious to see where they decide to go with it. I also can't wait to play it because I'm going to, because I ain't a little scaredy cat. I ain't scared of playing horror games. But now I sound like a bully because I made fun of people for, I encourage people not to play those games. They don't like them. Now I sound like an asshole.
Yeah, the thing that made, I should say this, the first thing I thought about with this was, we've talked about Far Cry 6 has been one that's going to be delayed. God of War, we don't know an exact date for. Right now, let's say April is the date, because Capcom could always say, fuck it, we're not putting it out during that time anymore, which would be stupid. Like, just put it, if you think it's the best time to put it out, just fucking put it out. Right now, the only games slated for April 2021 are Guilty Gear Strive, Poison Control, Nier Replicant version 1, Curse of Sea Rats, Humankind, with then May bringing us Rune Factory and then Deathloop on the 21st. Before that, March has a little bit of, they've got Yakuza Like a Dragon coming out, Harvest Moon. The first really big game so far, Destruction All-Stars, is in January. That was supposed to be a PS5 launch title. You've also got The Medium in late January as well. But there are other games like God of War we've talked about. Far Cry 6 we've talked about. Just kind of scrolling down, Cyberpunk we know is going to be in December. Dirt 5 has been delayed a lot.
Supposed to be in December. Let's not factor it.
Good call. Supposed to be. But I don't think a Cyberpunk gets delayed all the way till April.
I used to say the same thing before.
We've got, like, Halo Infinite could be around that time, to where it's like, this adds the question that I ask you every single time, Soapy, we get a new release date, is 2021 going to be the best year for gaming that we've seen in some time? Like, I kind of have a feeling, like, we knew Resident Evil was coming. I'm not acting like, ooh, it's a big surprise. We didn't know it was coming in 2021. But, like, I think to myself, is this going to be the best year for gaming coming out of the shit year that we've had, which is 2020? Not gaming, shit year is like a whole, I'm saying. And then number two is, do you see any games that haven't been announced, meaning like don't have a date, that could maybe rival this a little bit and take away from its sales?
I mean, there's a strong chance. It's also one of those things, though, that I've always been extremely careful with, like, listing, like, oh yeah, this game's going to be the greatest when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, oh, this is going to be the greatest year for gaming, because it's one of those things. One of these games has to flop.
Yeah.
Like, it pains me to say, but like, there's at least going to be one of these games that's not going to be that good.
But what if they all don't flop?
Well, then that's a fucking first time in gaming. I can tell you that much.
True, good point. I'm
This
just
has been
being
a
a
whole
fucking
hell of a
edgelord.
lot of times. Oh yeah, but I mean, I want it to be the best year in gaming because fuck, I want to be alive for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You kidding me? I'm
Yeah.
so tired of I'm so tired of hearing everyone be like, the 90s was the gold era. Those fucking people. I'm tired of being around them.
The thing about the 90s, though, was it had a lot of, maybe this is me thinking back, it had a lot of classic games to it. And it had games that, yes, looking back, if you played them now, maybe not as great as they were. But it was a unique time for gaming. Plus, gaming, you got to understand, gaming was coming out of the, like, Atari age. You know what I'm saying? Where, like, I want to say the 90s from, like, Nintendo into Sega and then boom into, like, PlayStation, Xbox. That was the first big jump that we had, where it wasn't just talking about, like, 8-bit and 16-bit. It was like, holy shit, jump to the PlayStation 1, Xbox One, where it's like, yeah, Lara Croft looks a little like, but you're in a 3D space. Then jumping to like the PS2, was it Xbox came out with the PS2, not PS1, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I did the
That's
whole
the wrong
like,
era. Yeah,
like
so
the Xbox One ain't the original Xbox ain't that old.
I should say PS1 and then the jump from PS2 and Xbox were like that generation. It was the first time for me where it was like, damn, they took the 3D models that we were so used to with the PS1 era and they jumped it to where like it looked good. It looked actually good to be walking around with your character. Like I remember fucking playing Halo for the first time and being impressed. Like that's why I feel like this next generation, we may get that same thing because they always say these Xbox and PlayStation that we're getting this year, this is the first big leap that we've had in gaming in quite some time. Soapy's internet cut? Did your internet cut, Soaps? Soaps, are you there? Are you there, Soaps? It ain't me, it's him. Okay. So we'll just wait for Soaps to get back. But yeah, like for me, like I was talking with Soaps, it depends on what games are coming out. There's God of War going to be around that time. Because that would be huge. Would Halo be around that time? Soaps, are you back? Are you back, Soaps? Soapy, are you back?
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Now I am.
What I will ask you, though, is to get off of what we were going into and just kind of finish this one up because this was kind of the short one of the list is, will Resident Evil be hurt if God of War and maybe a Halo Infinite, if those are both released in close proximity to it? Like, let's say God of War is one Friday or one Tuesday, Friday, then Resident Evil's the next Friday, then Halo Infinite's the next Friday. Will that impact Resident Evil in your mind?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's one of those things. Resident Evil has such a devoted fan base that those people will drop other games. Like, they're on fucking fire. Oh, now there's a train coming. But, like, those people will drop the game, like, other games like it's on fucking fire.
They'll drop like, nope. God of War?
Yes.
I mean, God of War's got to be good, too. We'll put that caveat next to it.
Well, it's also the fact, though, that Resident Evil has such a devoted fan base that I've literally seen people stop, like, when other games were coming out around Resident Evil 7, I literally watch people stop playing every other game to play Resident Evil.
Okay, good
Like,
point.
It's one of those things
I didn't think about it that way.
Like, you're going to lose, like, the average fan that's not, like, a super huge devoted fan to the games.
Yeah.
But, like, the people who are going to buy the game solely because it's one of those games, oh yeah, you ain't losing those people.
Okay. Yeah,
They'll be there forever. Those people will never go away.
I just think about it, and like they could be in a situation like that because I know Halo Infinite, we've talked about April being their target date. We think between March and May, is pretty much going to be the hot zone for God of War. So that's why I bring up those two in it. But it's exciting if you're a Resident Evil fan, even though we got it through a leak. It's exciting to get this news that possibly April 2021 could be when we get our hands on Resident Evil Village. Soapy, we got 2 Xbox stories to end the show with. The first one comes from Video Game Chronicle, and it says this: Microsoft wants future Bethesda games to be either first or better or best on Xbox platforms, a senior executive has said. Speaking at the Jefferies Interactive Entertainment Conference last week, Xbox Chief Financial Officer, or CFO, Tim Stewart, discussed how Microsoft intends to handle the release of Bethesda Studios games once the Elder Scrolls Fallout and Doom publisher becomes a first-party company. Microsoft announced in September that it intends to acquire ZeniMax Media and its game publisher Bethesda Studios for $7.5 billion. Let's get to the comments, though. He says, what we'll do in the long run is we don't have intentions of just pulling all of Bethesda content out of Sony or Nintendo or otherwise, Stewart said. But what we want is we want that content in the long run to be either first or better or best, or pick your differentiate experience on our platforms. We will want Bethesda content to show up the best as on our platforms. Yes, that's not a point about being exclusive. That's not a point about we're being adjusting timing or content or roadmap. But if you think about something like Game Pass, if it shows up best in Game Pass, that's what we want to see. And we want to drive our Game Pass subscribers, or our subscriber base, through the Bethesda timeline. So again, I'm not announcing pulling content from platforms one way or another, but I suspect you'll continue to see a shift towards a first or better or best approach on our platform. Soapy, I'm going to get your thought in a second. Here were my initial thoughts with this. Were, number one, the first thought to me, A-okay. It is A-okay to sit there as an Xbox CFO and go, you know what? I want these Bethesda games, I want them to be on our stuff first, where it might be a little bit of a controversial thing for some people. Some might say it's not the best thing, but fuck it, we own this. So let's go ahead. It comes out on Xbox first, then it comes out on PlayStation, Switch, PC at a little bit of a later date. I'm not saying like a year down the line. I'm saying like maybe a month or two down the line, maybe even a couple weeks if you want to do that short kind of a thing. The second thing I thought of was the or better or best. Absolutely the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. And the reason why I say that is I get where you're coming from. You want the game to look best and play better and be everything on your console. But the guy, girl, anyone on PlayStation, Switch, you're not going to get that person to, if the game is shit on PlayStation but runs beautifully on Xbox, you are not going to get that person to say, well, I'm going to sell my PlayStation and get an Xbox. You're not going to do it. And I know, Soapy, you're going to say, but Game Pass is on computer. You're not going to get that PlayStation gamer to get Game Pass on computer. You're just not going to do it. So, like, to me, unless I am, Soapy, misreading what I am seeing, why the hell wouldn't you just want the game to be good? Like, just let the game be good. It's this better or best thing that kind of caught me off guard of like, let the game be good everywhere because it's not going to draw people to you to have it best on Xbox. What's going to happen is your Xbox base is going to love it because the game plays beautifully. Your PlayStation base will be, well, fuck Bethesda games and just not buy it.
You want to know the funny thing? There's a little bit of irony here.
Go ahead.
Because you remember a game we were covering a couple months ago? Oh, they were doing the exact same thing?
Not Fallout.
PlayStation players get benefits over other Xbox players.
Avengers, you're right.
Yeah, I wonder.
You're right.
Huh? Look at that.
Is that what they mean though? Like that's a different conversation
Yes.
though. Okay. Like when I see
It's
better,
the exact same thing.
Okay. When I see better or best, I wasn't thinking like, oh, this part of the version you get to play as Spider-Man. I was thinking like,
well, that wasn't the only thing. Remember?
Okay, like
there was also like PlayStation players had higher drop rates. They'd get content before Xbox players. They'd get all this extra shit. Like it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, but like that doesn't mean
they'll
that
probably get the game first.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the game is gonna look great on one console, but look like shit on the other.
I don't think that's what they mean by it, though.
Okay, that's what I'm asking because that's what I interpreted when he said that.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they mean because obviously that'd be really weird to dumb down the consoles from one game
from one
console then to another because that's all
what I'm saying.
Like that's why I don't think that's what they meant by it.
Okay.
I think what they mean is like, for instance, that there will be things exclusive to Xbox. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, hey, Bethesda, slide a couple extra DLCs Xbox ways that PlayStation doesn't get, or slide it a couple other ways so PC players get them.
Yeah.
Once again, PlayStation players don't get. And like, for instance, probably do stuff like that. Or hell, they could even have it that it's like, hey, give this to Game Pass players. Not just Xbox people in general, because I think next gen they're forcing you to get Game Pass. So obviously, you get it anyways.
Yeah.
But like if they released it on the current gen, they'd be like, oh, give Game Pass players something special for paying for our service. I think that's what they're going for. They're not going to be like, hey, make sure the controls feel like absolute shit on PlayStation, because that hurts us more than just making it like that they don't get extra content.
That's why I was confused. That's why I'm going to retract my stupidest thing in the world. If it's what Soapy's saying, I completely agree with it then. Like, that's the thing of like, me as a PlayStation guy, I would assume Xbox users get something special that I don't, because who owns the company? Xbox. Just like for Avengers, who owns Spider-Man? And they don't own the Avengers, but they have the exclusivity rights to Spider-Man, is Sony. So like for me, that's something of like, if it's that sense, Soapy, I retract my comment, and I completely agree with you. Then it's within their right to do that, and I wouldn't be upset if I was a PlayStation player.
Yeah, I mean, there'll still be PlayStation players who will complain anyways. It's it's the same thing with like console PC players also complained whenever Marvel Avengers did it. It happens all around. Like, it's a shitty thing of like, hey, these games are releasing on all platforms, but this one gets special treatment. Like, it's shitty, but once again, that's just how gaming's going.
Yeah, I mean,
so it doesn't surprise me that if Bethesda releases a couple extra DLCs and stuff like that, just specifically Game Pass users.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like, that's why I put this on here, because I misread this, and I was like, oh shit, he wants it to be better on Xbox and not good at other consoles. One of the comments on this article I completely agree with, though. Microsoft likes money, so a time release for other consoles. I just want Doom and Wolfenstein. Like, that's the thing. I feel like this is not going to do anything. If it's what you said, Soapy, I don't think it's something to drive the needle to, oh, I've got a PlayStation, I got to get an Xbox to play this. Because I feel like there's a lot of people, especially because we're in a pandemic right now, if you're able to buy at least one console, that's all you're getting. Like, that's all you're buying, because there are some people out there, I've seen it on Twitter, where someone will put on, like, oh, I'm so happy to play my PlayStation, and then the replies will just be like, well, feels good to have money to buy it, where it's like, there's a part of me in that sense of, and I'm going off on a little tangent here, I'm sorry, but there's a part of me that's like, A, I understand your frustration, B, don't take it out on, like, if it's a regular Joe Schmo, don't take it out on them. Hell, if it's even a YouTuber or an influencer, as we're called, don't even take it on them. They're just excited to have it. Like, it sucks what situation we're in. I see that and I go, that's just negativity we don't need, but I understand where you are coming from, because I'm pretty upset that I didn't get my PlayStation. which Soapy reminds me, guess what I did not do on Friday? I did not. I said I had a tease. I said at the end of the show, I will tell you how I spent my Thursday. And I did not tell you how I spent my Thursday. So would you mind, before the last topic, if I went ahead, got on my soapbox, and told everyone how my Thursday went?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Now, I apologize. I was a lot more heated on Friday than I am after the weekend. So this bit was going to be a lot better on Friday. So I apologize for that. But as many of you know, PlayStation came out on the, what was that, the 12th, Thursday? And Walmart, that was the main one. I looked on Target, done. Best Buy, done. Walmart had 4 times. I didn't know about the 4 times. I just knew about the one. So I got up. I'm like, fuck, okay, I'm ready. 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock rolls around. Site kind of freezes up. It's in my cart. I can't get anywhere past it. No big deal. It's going to be back up at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock's the same thing. It's in my cart. I can't get anywhere past it. No big deal. My mom, on the other hand, because I told her about it, and she's like, oh, well, I'm going to try to get one because your sister's boyfriend had a birthday, and he wants one as well. So she got to shipping. So I was all like, how the fuck did you get to shipping? I never got to shipping. Then the third time rolls around, and I get to shipping, and I was like, fuck, I thought I had it. Like, you know that commercial of the, like, oh, you got to be quicker than that? That's how I felt, except I'm on the other side, trying to reach up for this PlayStation. Soapy, the last time, this was right after the shows on Thursday, this was about 8 o'clock, the bullshit that I had to go through, which we have had this conversation in Discord, Soapy. I have had this conversation on this show. I have voiced my opinions about this. I don't know why in the year 2020, why retailers cannot have websites that don't crash and don't burn, basically, on a console release. Because here's what happened to me the last time. Not only did I get to shipping, Soapy, not only did I get to the part where I put in my credit card info, not only did I get to the part that says review your order, I got to the elusive place your order button. I clicked that bad boy. I clicked it so fast, a little thing came up and said, check the box to make sure you're not a robot. I saw no checkbox. I was panicking because there was no checkbox. Like I felt like I was so close to getting it, Soapy. I thought I actually had it in my hands, to be honest with you. I clicked the box that eventually popped up. It shoots me back to the beginning, my cart. So I go through the entire process again. I get to shipping. I get to putting my cart in. I get to review your order. I click that because everything was right. And I get to place your order again. And Soapy, I clicked place your order, and guess what happened? Is Soapy not there anymore? Did his internet cut out? I'll tell you what happened, guys. It shot me back to the beginning of my cart and said, oh, I'm sorry, this item is out of stock.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Did not get it. Soapy, I was so angry. I was so angry on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, no, I heard you.
Like, because here's why. I'll tell you here's why. If it would have just been like the first time, whatever, I tried 4 times, didn't get it. The fact that I was able to get all the way to place my order, click on it, and then it bounces me back, that's a website issue. That is not a PlayStation issue. That is a website issue. This has been a complete clusterfuck. I hate this. And now I'm on your train, Soapy. Like, JD has been like, oh, you'll get one. Dave was trying to pump me up. Oh, don't worry, you're getting one. I'm just going to be like you, Soapy. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to fucking wait. I'll wait a little bit. Like, fuck it. I got Shadowlands coming out on, what is it? Tuesday Shadowlands comes out? Let me see. Shadowlands comes out, Monday, the 23rd. Comes out on Monday. So I got Shadowlands on Monday. I'll be happy with that. I'll just get the PlayStation at a later date, and we'll be happy after that. That's why you brought up pre-show. Oh, we're not talking about Miles Morales stuff, it's because I'm trying to stay out of the Miles Morales weeds until I can play it, because I don't want to play it on my fucking PS4, and then, like, I'd rather just experience it on the PS5. But Soapy, the last thing we're talking about, last bit of Xbox news that we have, Phil Spencer also spoke. And this was the opening event. This is from PCGamer.com. The opening event of this year's all-digital TwitchCon, aptly renamed GlitchCon, included a short MMA style, or AMA style, MMA, an AMA styled interview with head of Xbox Phil Spencer, who accepted congratulations on a successful launch for the Xbox Series X and S. The comments he made, Soapy, were this: in terms of continuing to invest in new studios and new games and new content, we absolutely have to do that. It's important that... can't find the page. That's not good. Let's see. Let me find the quote again because my internet fucked up on me. There we go. Absolutely need to do that. It's important that we continue to build out our library of games that are available on Xbox. We'll double the size of our studio organization when we add Bethesda, and we're going to continue to invest in great games so that people can find their next favorite game on our platform. Soapy, how aggressive do you see Xbox being this next coming year when it comes to acquiring game studios? Is there going to be, and here's the thing I thought of, is this not just going to be a console war anymore? It is now going to be a war over who has the best exclusives, or who has the best studios that can get the best things for said game.
I think it's going to more or less be just who has the best studios. I don't think it's going to be exclusives, because we're already kind of seeing Microsoft's not taking the exclusive route.
Mm-hmm. But taking the route, like you said, with like how Avengers did with PlayStation owners. Yeah,
giving benefits to Game Pass owners and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be one of the things, and it's going to also be making Game Pass even a better deal than it already is.
Okay.
Because then, for instance, they're going to be like, hey, all these games that hopefully, air quotes around hopefully, because God fucking forbid, yeah, at some point, maybe they get a studio that can put out a Game of the Year contender.
Mm-hmm.
Then they can say, guess what? This game that has potential to win Game of the Year, it's already on Game Pass. Launch day one. Over then with PlayStation Play, or PlayStation Now, whatever it's called, they're going to be like, hey man, you got to wait at least like 4 months before this bad boy gets put on there.
Mm-hmm.
We got to make some money off of it. Microsoft's like, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Have fun. I think that's the approach Microsoft is going to stick to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited. I don't know who they're going to purchase, though. Honestly, if they bought Bungie again, cool. Whatever. My only thing is, I don't know if Bungie technically owns the rights to Destiny. The only reason is because I don't know if that's an Activision title that they were given the rights to make.
Here, let's see.
Like, that's the whole thing of where that's kind of like a rocky situation. Like, I know they made Destiny, but I don't know if Activision's like, actually, we have the rights to Destiny. You nincompoop, you can't make that anymore.
I mean, Activision, though, doesn't have a... Like, they're not a PlayStation or Xbox side. Like, they could probably work out an agreement with Activision if they really wanted to make one as an Xbox studio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and obviously...
The developer is Bungie, the publisher is Activision.
Yeah, I just don't know exactly who has the rights to Destiny itself. Like, that's the only question. Of where, for instance, it's Microsoft owned the rights to Halo, but Bungie made the game. Like, that's the only thing that, like... And obviously someone's probably going to be like, Soapy, you actual fucking idiot. You goddamn baboon. It's going to be like, listen, guys, I understand. You know, gaming's hard for me, you know, sometimes. Sometimes.
From what it says here, and this is about Destiny 2. It became a free-to-play title on October 1st, 2019, followed by the game's release on Google Stadia the following month, and then the PS5 and Xbox Series X platforms in November 2020. The game was published by Activision until December 31st, 2018, when Bungie acquired the publishing rights to the franchise. So that sounds
Okay.
like to me like Bungie. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a Polygon article from January of 2019. Bungie splits with Activision, acquires rights to Destiny. So
Okay,
Bungie
cool.
does have the rights to Destiny.
Okay, cool. So, and for instance, and obviously it's one of those things, there were the rumors that Microsoft was going to buy Bungie, which I thought were funny, just because it's like you guys already owned Bungie before. Why'd you let them go?
Baby, come back. You can
Yeah,
make a
basically.
Halo game for me.
Well, see, honestly, once again, I don't think they would make Halo. I think they would just bring the Destiny title to
Xbox.
Xbox, and they'd be like, "Hey, guess what? This is already on Game Pass. Here you go." Also, make an option that every single raid is available on console, and make it to
Yeah.
where like the other raids are like timed or something like that.
Yeah.
Some stupid
Okay.
shit
Or just
or
like
something like
exclusive content that only Xbox owners get.
yeah. Obviously, just continue with the vibe that they've already been doing.
Yeah. Because I mean, the thing that I'm thinking about is like when it comes to PlayStation exclusives now, I'm trying to think what exclusives they really have. Like they've got obviously the Miles Morales, the Spider-Man, um, God of War, Crash wasn't even an exclusive because that I believe came out on Xbox as well. Ratchet and Clank will maybe be an exclusive. I want to say to where
Yeah,
like
that's exclusive.
Xbox, and we've talked about this before. Xbox's money maker is for them to buy studios, bring them in, and just kind of say, hey, you know what? You're going to get the most on this one. We actually got Dark Sage in the Twitch chat. When I think the issue today in gaming is not so much investing in new studios, but all these remakes or remasters of games. It seems to me the game industry today has run out of ideas on what to make or games to try, and just remasters or remakes games to make a quick buck or two. Like, I kind of agree with that. Like,
Factual statements, dude.
I
I
think that
love you, Dark Sage.
the movie industry is the same way, where it's basically like, how many times have we seen a movie where it's like, well, this was a movie in the 80s, where for like HBO Max, Witches, movie in the 90s, they go ahead and remake it now with Anne Hathaway, where gaming's the same thing, where I I don't know if we ever see that change, because they're trying to basically, nostalgia will always make money. Nostalgia will
Hell yeah,
always be
well,
something to make money, especially when you got people in my era, especially 90s kids and 2000s kids, that anything we touched, we loved it. And we'll fucking give you basically any money that we have to relive the glory days of being a kid, because being an adult sucks.
yeah. I mean, hell, we're seeing in the movie industry with the fact they're making another Matrix after Matrix 2 and 3 were not as good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a societal problem. Like, we're seeing, like, yet again, I'm going to throw this out there. We're seeing another Space Jam. I've always said we don't need another Space Jam movie. The first one was fine. It doesn't need to be a sequel or anything. So, like, gaming, movies, I totally agree, Dark Sage. It's just fucking remakes. And, like, do you think we'll ever see, what's one property that we haven't seen something in quite a while? I'm trying to think. A game that we haven't seen a new property in for some while. Like, I'd say Mass Effect, but like Mass Effect are coming out with a new game. Oh fuck. Good call, Dark Sage. GTA 5 again for the third time, when we already have it twice on other consoles. That's a good one.
See, to be fair though, I don't think I think that's a different one. That's
Is
just
it
them
though?
re-releasing the game. That's not so much a remaster or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because a remaster would be like, hey, we're going back to like the original
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot
But the point
and making another one.
But the point is,
Like,
how many times do you have to re-release GTA 5? Give us GTA 6.
when GTA 5 stopped being a literal printer
Yeah,
for
good
money.
point. That casino
Like,
does print money.
I mean, dude, fuck it. Like, just even mentioning that game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's the fact that that game is on pace to almost rival Minecraft as the highest selling game of all time. You know how fucking impressive this? Minecraft's been around for like 12 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
It's on pace to pass Minecraft.
Yeah.
And Minecraft is free.
Mm-hmm.
You know how fucking absurd that is?
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean,
let GTA 5 keep going. I want to see another game past Minecraft in my lifetime.
do you think we'll ever? When do you think we'll get GTA 6?
In my second lifetime, when I'm reincarnated as a fucking booger in some fat kid's nose, because I'm not a good person.
Cause like I'm thinking about that. Like I fucking GTA. I've lived through GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 4, GTA 5. So what, I've seen 5 GTAs. This would be the 6th GTA. GTA 6 would be my 6th GTA that I lived through. But yeah, like there's a part of me that like I don't want to say the game industry has gone stale. And like, cause there are games that like, I think God of War that's going to be good. I hope Cyberpunk is good. Miles Morales, although that was kind of a side off of the Spider-Man game, I've only seen good things from it. Like, I feel like there are good games being made. It's just, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of remakes and remasters and, like the gold, like GTA throwing out 50 gold editions, ultimate editions at you. When it's like, dude, just give us a new game, give us a new fucking story to play in, because you're just giving us the same game over and over and over. Soapy, I will ask you this. Final thoughts, anything we talked about today before we wrap everything up, before we go into Sports Live?
If you want Rockstar to start making GTA 6, tell everyone to stop buying GTA 5 every time it comes out again.
Yeah, you make it like, see, there's that side of it too, to where it's like, I get why. It's just, I can't, like, Darksage brings up a good point with the remakes. The GTA 5 thing got me. Like, that's the one where it's like, how long has that game been out? Has it been 5 years?
I think so. Let me check real quick.
Was it 2015? Let's see. GTA 5.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't just have you look it up.
7 years. It's been 7 fucking years. That game came out on September 17th of 2013. I was a year out of college.
Man, imagine. That game's still printing money after 7 years. I'm just saying, dude. Rockstar's in the right here, dude. If I'm gonna I'm gonna keep that cash cow as long as I can. Everyone complain about it being milked all they want. Stop buying products for it then.
Can't you just switch that over to a 6?
No, because we saw exactly what would happen if they tried. Because you want to know what happened? Red Dead Online happened. Tried the exact same shit GTA 5 did. Sucked ass. Thing didn't work for like a whole fucking year, and now it doesn't work again.
Damn, GTA 5, 7 years. I thought it was only 5. It's been 7. But that's going to do it for Soaps and I today. Good show, Soaps, as always. Internet caused issues, but we got through it. We kept going because that's what we are. We're gamers. Just like I said at the beginning, if you want to join the best community on the internet, Discord, that link down below in the description, or ! Discord gets you into the MVP Discord server. You can talk to all the real MVPs. Soapy, I, Dave, we're all in there as well. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVP-vids is how you go ahead and do that. Yet again, link down below, or ! Patreon gets you that link in Twitch chat. You can also throw us a sub where we're live on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVP-vids, but we're also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment. So to keep up on our content, go and follow and sub at both places. That's going to do it for Soapy and I today, Monday, November 16th. Dave and I are coming up next with a really jam-packed MVP Sports Live. A lot of basketball news happening today, so Dave and I will be coming up with that. Soap and I will be back tomorrow around 4:30 Central Time with another good MVP Games Live for you. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, doing everything you do, and as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.